Ryan A. Bell, Social Media Specialist, NASA JPL.
All right. Let me bask in this for a second. I don't get to be cool very often, you know? Like, so that was cool. Yeah, woo! In fact, I noticed that I was collecting pins. Like, by tomorrow I'll have a pocket protector and all that stuff and be completely nerded out. Or a Baustaschel? I've been here for 24 hours and that's the one thing that I've picked up. That shows you that I haven't been keeping good company, right? Thanks, team. So, yes, this is me, and I'm going to kind of talk about branches in the stream. And I did that in this weird poetic way when I was thinking about this because events like Engage and people like Clara taught me that if I'm not giving you something, if I'm just speaking at you, there's no value for you. So I want you guys to leave here seeing some of this stuff and getting inspired to do something else, because all the creative stuff that we're doing right now is building onto the next thing. And we're gonna go over some cool stuff, because this is me. I want you to look at my Twitter profile right now. I just put up a question about live streaming. So if you can go to that, I was going to put it on Pulp Media, but I'm trying to do too many things with this presentation, and I'm probably stressing Paul out. So there's a question about when live streaming began, because it's an interesting thing now that we are like going in this different direction. So I'm not looking at my my next slides. This is what we're gonna go through. Live streaming, how to win a friggin' aiming, NASA, how we go live, and tips, tools, and tricks. Wait, not tricks, we'll call this part strategies. Cool, right? So this is me. I am on the Television Academy. So I help judge the Emmys. I am on the Interactive Media Peer Group, so that includes all things interactive, immersive, and experiential. So even events would fall into that category. VR, AR. It's a really fun place because it's kind of like the new stuff group. Like, what is emerging technology and how do we tell stories with it? So if I stay on top of that, then I get to kind of cheat and figure out what the next thing is. At JPL, a lot of folks don't know that JPL is where we make the robots. It's called Jet Propulsion Laboratory. No jet propulsion. It's a name that we had in the 1930s. That's how long JPL's been around. JPL actually predates NASA. So we're pretty cool. So, except for the pocket protectors and stuff like that. So, live streaming, the humble beginnings. This is the question. When was the first live stream event? Anybody want to just give it a guess that hasn't done the thing yet? What year? Somebody shout it out. Anybody? Come on, there's people in here. 2008? No. The truth is 1993. And it took up half of the bandwidth of all of the internet, all the available internet, all right? So 1993, amazing that we did that back then. But we had some not so cool things, as she was talking about in conferences. We had the Clinton webcast, and then we had what would be considered the first live streaming kind of platform, which was live streaming. It was Justin TV. People actually used it, and people had little cameras on their hats and stuff like that. It wasn't really a big deal. And really, the world was waiting for platforms like Facebook. So if you look at this, like 2004, that's not that long ago. You know, I was already balding then. No, I'm joking. I'm so sensitive. But on that opening day, they signed up 650 students. Now it's 500,000 users per day. Now we've got Twitter in 2006, and we were waiting for this. So live streaming didn't become a thing until Periscope was acquired by Twitter in March 13, 2015. And I got on the platform early and started playing with it. And I picked this particular live stream because it had an effect on me. It was very early on. It was a surfer in Australia named Mitch Oates, and he did the first underwater scope. And everybody's like, how in the world did he do it? How in the world did he do it? And I was talking to him about putting on an event, and I wanted to know how he did it. So I was like, I want you to speak on what you're doing on Periscope. How did you do it? What technologies did you use to do an underwater Periscope? And so he sent me a picture of the technology, and he texted me a picture of a Ziploc bag. So yeah, it was a Ziploc bag. That was the super technology that NASA guy couldn't figure out. So when I started doing stupid stuff, right? I was just testing the platform. I pretended to be Elvis. I wrote a country song with so I crowdsourced a country song. I got my chest waxed. I did stupid stuff. And then all of a sudden, I had somebody doing a documentary about me. I was working with brands like SanDisk, BMW, T-Mobile, and advising them on how to do live streaming. This is all 2015. I ended up in really weird places, like Team Mosley. Like, I was walking down and doing Sugar Shane Mosley's live stream as he was coming into the ring one time. And you can see the look on my face, like, what the hell am I doing here? And then I ended up putting on the first live streaming conference. That's Al Roker, Jay Manuel, and it really went off really well. It sold out in a few days, and the Pope was in town. It was in New York. And we trended on Twitter over the Pope because of the power of the live video. So live video is, as we know now, is so powerful. So these are the first influencers that I had at my event. They all love their faces, you know, it's great. But that's kind of my origin story as to where I got and how I got here. But now it's more interesting to me to think about producing content and how brands produce content, especially brands that are federally funded research and development companies. NASA does not want to make money. NASA doesn't do anything called marketing. NASA does social media and has for a very long time. If you think about it, we did the first live stream from the moon. Pretty dope, right? So I mean, we had like really nice cameras up there. I don't know if you heard, but it was also the first craft that was controlled by a computer that had humans in it. We don't think about how the moon landing was so important and how amazing it was, but it is the single most amazing technological feat in human history. And I think about that way too often because it's so true. And like, what are we gonna do next? But anyways, I'm totally a NASA nerd, and there's just so much to dig on, and we're hitting like the Apollo 50th anniversary of the moon landing, so there's like a lot of cool stuff, and there's an AR app that's out that I've been playing with where you can make this really big rocket. It's really neat. So we live stream our launches. We live stream our landings. And we also live stream our rovers being built. So this is happening right now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I guess we can watch it. Do you guys want me to take the risk of getting out of here and watching the live stream for a second? All right, let's do this. Escape. All right, let's watch this live stream. Open up.
Is there?
That's it? No, that's the still. Oh, yes. Thank you for, that's interaction from the crowd. All right, so here we go. These are people that are actually working. We're 90+% oh wait, what is that dude doing banging on that? There's like, what? I didn't call and say, hey, could you bang on something with a red hammer? Right? So there's usually 200 people, sometimes 600 people in here watching. He is beating the living hell out of that thing. I am digging it. No. So we have people that come in and we'll be talking to subject matter experts. So my partner and I will be answering questions. So at 11 p.m. and 4 p.m., we're answering questions like why is that guy beating on that? You know, why is there a blue light in the background? That means there's power going to the rover. What are those boxes? Those are air ionizers. But we are in what's called Spacecraft Assembly Facility, which is the coolest name for any building. And this is where so many of NASA's major missions, from Voyager to the Ranger missions, these are the missions that made NASA what it is today. And so our goal is to reach the broadest audience possible and teach them and bring them along. So not only are we watching this rover being built, the wheels getting put on, the cameras being put on, we're learning about the microphones that are going to give us sounds from another planet. And we are beating the hell out of things with red hammers. But we also have different ways that we come up with campaigns. Like there's the Send Your Name to Mars campaign. So if you sign up, so if you look it up, just type in NASA Send Your Name to Mars, and it'll come up and you can sign up for free, and your name will be etched along with 7 to 8 million to 10 million of your closest friends and sent up to Mars for however long it lasts up on Mars. So we are really committed to sharing the science and the info with you. I can't click through here, but pretty cool, right? Oh, and does anybody have any questions about this? Like one of the cool things that I always think, you know, they're in the bunny suits right now because they don't want to get any detritus, any humanity on the rover, right? You know, you don't want to end up finding life on Mars and it have come from Bob's mustache, right? You know, like that's, whoa, we found life. No, it's a booger, you know. All right, let's see. Let me get back in here. Boop, boop, boop. Seamless transition. Did I do it? No, I didn't. Damn it, Sam. I told all of you that I shouldn't have done this, and you still made me do it. All right, let's see. What? I got way ahead of myself here. All right, let's go back. Was I just pressing the button absent-mindedly this whole time? There we are. So that's the link if you want to find it out. So it's just youtube.com/NASAJPL/live. All right. We also do lectures. So we do these really big events, and we also do small events. So we'll be live streaming lectures and answering questions for there. But we also are going to want to do these smaller events. And I wanted to come up with some stuff because, like, NASA has different budgets and different stories than you, but this is something that I've always used. So getting a small lens clip, a lens kit that's actually pretty decent. Don't go anything less than like 70 or 80 euro. And a nice microphone that you can do the constraints for the direction. This is made by Shure. It's an MV-188, and I swear by it. I've used it so many times to make good content, because there is a difference in live stream between just using a phone and going full production with something like Wirecast or Teradect. If you're out in the field and you want to do something and you've only got your Bohm Sechel or whatever it is, then you want to have your phone, you want to have a battery, and you want to have a few things like this. So this is made by Oloclip, a company that I really like, and the lenses don't scratch very well, and that Shure thing. And then you know how you trust people when they're holding clipboards. You know, they look more professional. If you've got like one of these where you're holding it and you've got it on a tripod, you look more professional. Like you can get into better shots. You can get people to actually listen to you while you're out at an event instead of just, that's my door key, you've just got your phone look. So we'll do that at Explore JPL. So Explore JPL is a family event. I picked a cute family picture because these young girls were with a scientist who was teaching them about Mars 2020. And so I was like, dude, you are awesome. Will you please take this and do a live stream? And she walked around the Mars rover and told all about it for like 7 minutes and had, thousands, if not tens of thousands of people watching her. Completely like just ready there in the moment. You found something good, you do it. That's what live streaming is to me. You have your planned out events, you have your launches, you have your landings. But if you find something that's beautiful out in the wild, you capture it. And so another thing, we had this event, and this event was in 8-bit apparently. Sorry about that. Where we were at a conference that's owned by Coachella. So think small Coachella. So we had this huge dome in the middle of the conference, and we had speakers timed out, and we did all the strategy. And the strategy was wait until the intermissions. And so speakers would go on and do TEDx-type talks during the intermissions, and this place would pack up. It would just swell. And then people would go and do the next, they'd go see Robert Plant or whoever. And so what we did was we created a video of that via live stream. First, we put it on Instagram Live, downloaded it directly to our phone. I mean, and this is pretty common type of practice. Uploaded it to IGTV, which was then able to share it to Facebook, and then it got so much play and replay for so little damn effort. You notice a pattern here? I'm like, so little effort. I'm a lazy person. And then we did it again for Twitter. But we don't have time to do this. As content creators, I'm always thinking about how I'm putting out, and I'm never taking in. I'll go to the gym, I'll go to yoga, and I'll do all this stuff, but I'm not reading books of poetry. I'm not doing my morning pages or anything like that. So one of the things that I want to work on in my workshop tomorrow is how to flex those muscles and get creative and get those juices flowing, because I feel like we get stagnated. So that's why I'm always saying, this is the easier way to do this. This is quick and this is good. So reduce, recycle, reuse. I'm such a Berkeley hippie that even that translates into that. So this is another Explore JPL picture. You see something cute in the wild, this rover running over children. It was planned. It wasn't like, oh gosh, this rover's running away. So now, how to win a friggin' Emmy. This is one of those things where this will be the first time I think that I'm really cool with being able to show this clip. I used to cry every time I watched it, which is really weird because I wrote it, and so I'm like, you just made yourself cry? What's wrong with you? Should I give myself a wedgie or a swirly? But anyways, when you submit for an Emmy, because believe it or not, we have in our category a lot of small marketing companies are involved in Emmy production worthy content. That's something that should inspire, because you guys can get down to the nitty-gritty and turn those wrenches and do those special things and ask your technology partners, hey, can we make this together? I've got an idea. It happens so damn often. So this is hopefully the video that we'll play.
One more time.
Huh?
One more time.
One more time, thank you.
This is the story of a space robot and the humans who loved her.
In 1997, there was no interactive peer group for the Television Academy. Frasier, Law & Order, and Third Rock from the Sun won Emmys in September. Shortly after, in October, NASA launched Cassini from Cape Canaveral for a 2.2 billion-mile journey to Saturn. 20 years later, NASA had to develop a campaign to convey the magic of a mission that had landed a probe on another moon, dove between Saturn and its rings, and collected enough science and imagery to inspire future missions. To prepare, we launched a multifaceted, multi-platform campaign on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and the mission website, running nearly daily updates. We visualized the mission through gorgeous animations and real imagery, and developed a curriculum for thousands of classrooms with science-themed teachable moments. The Cassini Grand Finale broadcast was dispersed as widely as technology would allow. We delivered live video across multiple platforms to every device, streaming apps, and traditional media broadcasters. During the finale, our team released multiple 360 videos with the crown jewel, a live 360 from inside Mission Control that had picture-in-picture of interviews, commentary, and, of course, science throughout its broadcast. Through strategic timing and the sheer magnitude of excitement, the public reaction made Cassini the biggest NASA-driven social event to date. #Cassini trended globally with 8 billion potential impressions. Its finale commentary was seen 2 million times, and more than 3 million people visited the Cassini website during the event. As people shed tears for a robot billions of miles away, the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, and 18 other newspapers across America ran front-page stories and photo spreads. Google made a doodle. Hallmark made an alternate happy ending. And editorials from the Washington Post and Chicago Tribune released headlines like, "The Cassini mission embodies the best of humanity." We encourage you to take a final dive into Cassini as well. Our supporting website and PDF are complimentary to this video and give direct links to the apps, websites, and communities that are still being inspired and learning from Cassini. This is NASA's first mission entered for an Emmy with the Interactive Media Peer Group. Thank you so much for your consideration.
So that won us an Emmy last year. So we got NASA's first Emmy because of this submission. That video was put together in about a week, written everything, because it took so long to just get it through. Can we do this? So ask, can we do this? Because a lot of times you can. I'm just a nerd at NASA that doesn't speak up as much as I should. And I told somebody, I told them in a big meeting, I said, I think we've got about an 85% chance of winning if you let me do it. And they looked at me like I was from another planet, you know? So these are the type of things that we're up against. America's Got Talent, American Idol. So think of all the interactive things that these companies do. They have voting mechanism, they have their own apps, they have AR, they have huge reach, they have money. That's amazing stuff to think that we're up against that. But the reason that we did is because we were more innovative. They put it like it was a marketing thing. They didn't put it like it was love. Everybody that I've talked to in this audience has conveyed to me that when they're putting together their strategies, they're doing it with love. They're doing it with sex, caffeine, rock and roll, all the good stuff. So if we look at the reach that we're getting from our live videos, we're in the millions for some of these. So we really have to think about what we're producing, because a lot of times it might go down. We also have to think about going on different platforms and bringing the people with us, making Twitter moments, making galleries, making people feel like they're there. Let's see. So this was where Mission Control got crazy right before everybody was just done, and the robot had melted into Saturn. A robot that had been going for 20 years. Sorry, I don't want to use too much of my time on Cassini, but it's one of those important things to note. We, space nerds, we don't have a favorite planet, you know? We have favorite spacecraft. My favorite planet's Earth. It's where I keep all my stuff. It's where where my friends live, right? You know, and people don't realize that NASA, like 25 to 30% of the stuff we do is Earth science. Like, we care about the Earth so much. It's not, there's no real plan B. So I really love Cassini, and I hope that if you guys start looking at NASA content, that you can find one of these missions that can be yours. And I don't care if it's Voyager or Apollo, just study one of them and be like, dude, that's really dope. So let's go on to the last part, and this is gonna totally get unraveled because I don't even know what I was doing. I'm talking to myself on the slides, but what's gonna friggin' happen? We don't know what's gonna happen. Crap, screw this. See, I'm talking to myself. Why are you referring to yourself in the third person on slides in a presentation? What's wrong with you? Are you okay? Whew. All right, got it. How do I tell these stories? So where are these stories going? I get discombobulated because I don't know what's going to be next. I know that we're in transition. When I'm at Television Academy, we had this kind of powwow with all the executives. And I always think that it's weird because I'm just, you know, in my mind, I'm still some little kid from a small town in Georgia. And my wife will drop me off at work in our old minivan and be like, you work at NASA. Yeah, and I'm like, and then she'll drop me off at Television Academy in our little orange Prius, and she'll look, you do the Emmys. I look really good on paper, right? So I love stories, and that's what we tell. This is my boss, Stephanie Smith, and she helps run NASA JPL. I want you to look at the numbers because our facility has, getting close to 3 million followers. That's hard. When I'm pressing go on a tweet that I've written, I'm like, if this is screwed up or the information is wrong, I'm gonna feel really crummy and I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble, you know? So we're gonna compare something that I think is really, really important and kind of says love social media, love and marketing. Maybe that's my theme. Maybe that's where I'm going. Bear with me. Now we've got Curiosity rover. This is one single mission from JPL that has 4.01 million followers. It's got more of a reach than NASA JPL. Okay, why is that? It's because Stephanie Smith is the voice of that robot. She tells the story as things happen, all right? So it takes 7 minutes for information to get back from Mars. She even thinks down to that. When she's about to send a tweet out, she'll be like, well, I think I have to wait about 6 minutes because I got the information 1 minute ago and it would take 7 minutes for it to get down and then tweet it out. So this woman becomes a robot, which love to see a lot of females in the audience. All these robots, because it's kind of nautically termed, all these robots are females. So all these robots that are these badass scientists that are on other planets, that are travelers, and that people love and follow and retweet, they're females. They are the first explorers before the next explorers. That's so cool. But I just want you to think about that. Like we develop that voice. We develop who that robot is, and that is so much fun. And Curiosity, she's tough. She's a badass. And then we had NASA Insight. NASA Insight is a lander. So a rover has wheels. A rover's like badass. It's moving, it's doing stuff. You know, the next rover, like, literally has a laser that shoots out of its head to blow up rocks. Like, that's dope. And so we've got this lander, and I hope my boss isn't watching this because I was so bored. I'm like, this lander is gonna get there, and it's just gonna do this because it's got these 2 solar plant panels. God, I look like such a dork. And it's just gonna do that on Mars indefinitely. Like, that's it. It's boring. And then I started thinking, I was like, wait, this robot's hella chill. And I was like, she's. And then I said she. I'm onto something because I was like, she's super chill. So I started to think, like, how she can be she's gonna be a yoga girl. So I started talking with Linda Rivera, who's on the Mars team, and she's like, oh my God, let's work with that. So we developed that robot's voice. And I just think that's so important in marketing and social media. You develop a voice that is you, is partially you. It draws people in because you draw people in, because you are the creative. And like, that's so damn important. All right, let's see. I've got another video. I don't really even want to play it too much, but this is something that I've been noodling a lot. So we're sending a helicopter to Mars, and with Mars 2020. I just found this out this week. This helicopter can't fly on Earth, but can fly on Mars. The atmosphere is different, and I just thought that was so good. So if you think perfect like that. So find what you think is absolutely beautiful. Find Voyager. I wanted to share this with you too. Gosh, am I running like 50 minutes over and everybody wants tacos? I'm the worst speaker, right? Because I don't keep track. I'm just gonna be up here. So I was on a call the other day, like literally 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about, I was with our Museum Alliance, and they were like, yeah, we're on the phone with Ars Technica. And I was like, that's cool, well, I'll look them up. I looked them up, and I was like, what are they, they're in Linz, I'm gonna be in Linz in a second. So it just goes to show me that not only I'm in the right place at the right time, but I'm talking to the right people that are connected to the right things. Like, we want to work with amazing people that are ready to have the next idea to share this. We want to find out what we're going to do with this. We want to find out how we're going to share science on new platforms. That's my job, and to have a buzzy microphone. So how are we going to use this, and what does the future hold? So, like, this stuff that used to be science fiction, it's not. It's just damn not. Like, from simple stuff like, I don't watch football, obviously. My wife is tougher than me. But like, this is AR. This is something that permeates our lives, that we see. And the future of watching football or whatever is going to be something where there's going to be somebody that's talking outside of your television. You're able to see them in glasses or something like that. I'm dying to do something where we've got 2 live streams. One feed that's going into like Magic Leap or HoloLens, that is a person standing next to your television, and a live stream that's going on your television, so that you have somebody that's going around talking about this and saying, right there, that's that. Like, how cool would that be? having a subject matter expert outside of your TV, walking around answering questions, right? We could do that. We have the technology. God, I'm such a dork. But we're getting there. We're getting to interactive. Bandersnatch is going to take it. And then we have all these other stories that we have to tell. We have the stories of fire, of earth, and of humans. And I think I feel good about this conversation. I think I feel good about this presentation because we're all so very important at what we do for who we are. And if you can come to my workshop tomorrow, I want you to ask Paul, because there's maybe a seat or two left. But I want to go over something with you guys that I think can help us all and kind of solidify some promises to myself about becoming a better creator and about exercising that, because we're pretty special and we're pretty badass. And I appreciate you guys coming out here so much. I have this bit.ly that goes directly to a Google Doc, and I'm going to put my contact information on there. And I want you guys to feel free to ask me questions on there if we don't get to it on Slido or anything like that. Because really, I love working with a lot of people, and I'm not that smart. I'm the guy that gets excited. I'm the guy that finds something that gets excited. And that's what I always want to be, you know? Because once you figure out who you are, man, you got it. So I'm so glad that I'm a part of this group, and I am so happy that you brought me, man. Thanks. I'm going to cry. Shit. Thanks, guys. You go... I go now?
No, you are going to stay up here for a few questions from Slido, right?
Yeah, I was joking. I'm good.
You still have some slides left, I see.
No, I don't want to do any of those. Those are...
Okay. So let's start with the top one. How do you plan broadcasts of very big events like Mars exploration?
Well, the question is in the technology and how quickly we can get that information. Are the cameras going to be good enough? Are the packets going to be good enough? I don't think we're quite there to be like live streaming from Mars. That will come. But right now, we have to be really excited to be able to get this information. Like one of the things that I didn't really get into was we have done a Mars HoloLens experience, and you're able to see all the Martian terrain. So yeah, that's super cool for us, the public, but what it means for scientists and for rover drivers is that they're able to track a path to get the rover to safety, because we don't want to lose a priceless rover, and there's no service stations up there. But long story short, we're going to broadcast them in kind of traditional ways right now, but I'd really love to see a future where we can get some live information from Mars and have somebody up there, or make it look like there's somebody up there. You know what I mean? Like here I am on Jezero Crater, you know? Like here I am on Olympus Mons, like, and have somebody talk about how much bigger that mountain is than any other mountain on our planet. You know, I think that's cool. That's next.
Okay, interesting question. What happens if something bad happens, e.g. during a launch?
We already have contingency plans and things written out for those things, so that's a pretty simple answer. We're ready, and we even know who's going to be answering those questions. For me, I'm not on that team. I stand down, and we hear from headquarters. Headquarters, you know, is the one that says no, like just stand down.
And then you shut down like a live stream or something. It would just shut down.
I don't even know. That hasn't happened. This is me. You're like, yeah. I would probably run home and cry.
What's a cool way to use 360-degree broadcasting that really has a benefit over usual 2D view?
I'm a big believer in what VR will become one day, but I think that AR is more of something that is going to be mass use. With VR, I think it's cool to see on a flat screen if it's just regular, but you really have to have something that's interactive, that skates the line between, is this television, is this traditional broadcasting, or is this a game? It has to be something that you have to be amazed by what it is. So you guys should look up how The Lion King was filmed, the new one with that Jon Favreau did. It was all filmed with VR headsets, and basically fake cameras pointed at things as viewfinders, and then they'd be able to go in and put in fake lights and all this stuff. So they had they had all these scenes that were just 360-degree VR sets that weren't like really there. Wired did an article. I highly recommend it because I kind of think that question might not be going the right direction. Using VR as a creation tool is amazing, but VR broadcasting, I want to enjoy that with my friends. Until there's a way that I'm able to really sit and feel presence with someone else in an experience, then it's different. So that's a long question, and whoever asked it, come and tug at me, and I'll talk your damn ear off. But I don't want to bore the other people in here.
I think you already answered the next one. Where do you think comes next? VR streaming.
Right.
Yeah. How many people are on your team?
So the social media team is only 3 people. Stephanie's our boss, and then above that is Veronica McGregor, who Clara mentioned from Engage. Our entire team outside of social media consists of a large TV studio, a lot of science writers that are all absolutely brilliant and can tell a story in ways that are inspiring. So we're a pretty large group, but my group is very small. Like, one of the things that I think is also cool is we have an artist studio on lab. Like, I didn't think that I would ever work at NASA. I just didn't think that that was ever in the cards for me. I started out, journalism and marketing. I've always been on the creative side, and now I'm learning how to use those tools differently, which is super cool. I feel like I'll never stagnate.
Okay, and the last one is, how do you make a simple product like a bearing become an emotional social experience?
Attach it to what is important. A bearing can be something so big. So Insight right now is having a difficulty with its mole. And the mole is a self-driving nail. So this nail is supposed to go some feet into the Martian soil to gather data. And it got kind of cockeyed or hit a rock and stopped going down. So this very small thing, this very small part of this big mission became something extremely scary. And we're having to lift it out, do something that it wasn't intended to have done. So these small things, these anomalies is like the longest 4-letter word where I work. Like, you don't want to hear about an anomaly. So a bearing could be the biggest story that ever happened. I just made it one, right?
Okay, thank you.
I'm free. I don't have to do anything else. Thank you guys so much.